So we're on reading number 37, September 10th, 2025. Der Red seinen Gewein Iberik. The talk was superfluous. Yankov hat noch früher gehabt bei sich abgepasst zu der Zellen dem Emes. Yaakov had already earlier decided that he was going to tell the truth. Hat ungeheuben reden und alle seinen geworden still. He began to talk and everybody became quiet. Hat alles übergegeben. Wer is, wemens Sohn. He gave out all the information, who he was, whose son, wemens Adam, whose son-in-law, wie soll die Yavonim haben ihm gefangen, how the, now that word, it's not Greek, the Ukrainians had enslaved him, verkauft zu Jan Bzik, sold him to Jan Bzik. Wie soll hat verfehlt Machzoches mit seiner Tochter, how he carried on relations with his daughter. Wie die Jiden von Josefov haben ihm ausgelesen, how the Jews from Josefov had not released, they had not retrieved or ransomed him, saved him. Wie hat sich umgekehrt in Dorf, aus Bänkschaft nur der Orlis, how he returned to the village longing for the non-Jewish woman.
Arelis.
Arelis, there you go. Orlis. Okay. Und wie sie hat sich gemacht stumm, weil sie hat sich nicht gekonnt auslehren, wie gehörig das jüdische Loschen. And how she pretended to be, made herself dumb because she couldn't properly learn the Yiddish language. Sie ist gewesen also still in Beistin Stub, als mir hat gehört den Tick-Tock von Wandsäge. It was so quiet in the study house that you could hear the tick-tock of the clock. Von Mal zu Mal hat sich herausgerissen bei Emerson a Knekht. From time to time, one heard from someone a groan. Seit die Rites haben sich angehäuben, hat man sich angehört voll allerlei österlicher Treffen. From the time of the slaughters, that the slaughters had begun, one heard all kinds of unusual, terrible events. Jeden seien geworden Christen, Daniel. Jews became Christians, they became Muslims. Jiddische Töchter haben Chasene gehabt mit Kosaken. Jewish daughters, Jewish women were married to Cossacks. Toteren geworden, verkauft in harems in the türkische Länder. They married Cossacks, they married Tartars, and they were sold into the harems in the Turkish lands, the Ottoman lands. Me hat verloren Äußeres und gefunden Äußeres. Treasures were lost and treasures were found. Weiber, was haben sich gehalten bei Almonas, haben gekrogen a Heter. Women who considered themselves widows had received approval, rabbinic approval, wieder Chassene gehabt, remarried, und später haben sich umgekehrt die Mannen. And later on, their husbands reappeared. Surprise, surprise. Sie seien geblieben meistens zu erzählen euch Doros. There were enough stories here to tell for centuries, for generations, yeah, for generations. Just lost myself here. For Doros. Und deswegen, als ein junger Mann in London, Jochus, soll sich einleben in ein dorfischer Schicksal und sie Megayer sein gegen jüdischen Dien und dem goyischen Gesetz, das ist etwas nein. But however, that a young man, a learned young man who had good pedigree should get involved with a non-Jewish woman, and she had in some Megayel Zayn, she was converted in some way, but against Jewish law and the Gentile laws. This was something new. Gershon hat herausgebaut die Gelle Eugen und sie seien also geblieben die ganze Zeit. Gershon had, pushed out or his yellow eyes, and they remained that way the whole time. Von Mol zu Mol haben die Wonsen sich bei ihm angespitzt. From time to time, his whiskers came to a point. I mean, what was he just like so shocked? Hat weggelegt a Fäust auf den Tisch und sie ist also gelegen. He put a fist on the table and it remained that way. Andere haben sich übergeguckt, geschockelt mit die Cap. Others, exchanged glances and shook their heads. Wie nur Yaakov is geworden still, hat Gershon also getun. As soon as Yaakov became quiet, Gershon spoke out. Bis a poishel, oiche Yisrael, you are a one who brings shame to the Jews. Toma metuma, an unclean, an unclean person. Yidden, es ist nicht die Zeit, euch kein Musa hat sich eingerufen, Parnes, mit a weißer Bowl.
So move the accent earlier, Parnes.
A Parnes, that's right, move it earlier, a Parnes. Correct, a Parnes. And I don't have to change any vowels. Jews, now is not the time for ethics. Spoke out a high-ranking member of the community with a white beard.
Yeah, Musar here is more like scolding.
Okay, good. A scolding, yeah. Musar. Oi, du kannst dem dien, weißt du, als das Kind ist nicht Jiddisch, hat der Rab gerät zu Jankobin mit a Zigernisch. If you know the law, you know that this child is not Jewish. Had the rabbi spoken to Yaakov with a hesitation. Wie bald die Mama hat sich nicht Megayer gewähnt mit dem Rishus. The
That's one's reshus.
Reshus von Kol is der Sohn Asheges. As the mother, as long as the mother is not converted according to the permission of the community, of the rules of the community, the child is a non-Jew. And then I guess this is Yankov speaking. Sie ist gegangen in Mikveh, gehitten Yiddishkeit. She went to the mikveh. She followed Jewish ways. Das ist nicht genug. It's not enough. A Gael darf men onnemen. A Gael, a stranger or a
No,
non.
a convert.
A convert must be converted properly. A chutzdem, Dina de Malchuta, Dina. That must, from all those olives at the end, it's got to be Aramaic. The law of das Gesetz von Malchus. Malchus is a din. The law of the government is a law.
Yeah, Dina de Malchusa Dina. Malchusa, another part of translating Hebrew Aramaic into Yiddish pronunciation is that you have to distinguish a saf and a taf, and this is Malchusa.
Malchusa. Oh yeah, well I should have known that. Yeah, Malchusa.
And this is an expression right from the Talmud, Dina de Malchusa Dina.
So the law of the land is the law. We have to follow the law of the land that we live in. It is a shas cheru, a nicht gewöhnliche Zeit. This is a time of emergency, not the usual time. Was ist das Kind schuldig? I guess, again, this is Yankov speaking. Why? This was an emergency time. Why is the child guilty? Okay. As is, here we go again, is Horaso.
Harasai.
Harasoi le dalotoi.
Validaso.
I'm not going to get this one. Betovma. Getragen, I'll just read the Yiddish. Getragen und geboren in Reinkeit. The child was carried and born in uncleanliness. Soll bleiben an Orl? He should remain an uncircumcised, he should remain a non-Jew in a very pejorative way. That's what should be his fate. Nimm den Mamsel und geh mit ihm ergens anders, hat Gershon getunne geschreit. Take the bastard child and go with him somewhere else, Gershon gave with a cry. Wir willen nicht bezahlen mit dem Kopf von deinen Tithes. We're not willing to pay with our heads for your lust. Was ist mit dem Mess? Hat gefragt dem the Parnes mit der weiße Board. What about the dead one? Asked that same official with the white beard. Wir können sie nicht mekavel sein auf den Beis Elomim.
Besalman.
Best Alman. Yes, we can't bury her in the cemetery. Thank you. I'll stop there. More to work on. Thank you. Elka, you want to read? Or I don't know, whoever wants to read now.
Yeah, Elka, go ahead.
Okay, I'll try. Es ist geworden a Gepilder, a Macholkas.
Machlokes.
Machloikis. Can you help translate Gepilder and
Well,
Machloikis?
gepilder is a commotion, and a machloikas is a disputation.
Uh-huh. So they started fighting, and there was a commotion. Yankov is noch gesessen a bissel. Yankov he sat down for a little bit.
He was still sitting down, noch gesessen.
No, I mean he stayed seated. Dennoch hat sich aufgehoben und ist weg. Then he got up and he left. Ist gegangen über dem Gas mit Hamelige Tritt. He went out into the street with a rapid gait.
Palach is slow.
Slow. Sorry. Well, he went slowly. A gebeugenem Kopf. With a troubled head.
His head bent down.
His head was bent down. Hat gewusst, was is. An over Hamidul Doodle. What is that Hebrew thing?
An Aver Hamaduldal. Aver means a limb. And I don't know what the meduldal is. Someone who knows Hebrew better. And the chama?
I think
the
broken.
limb is cut off from the tree.
Yeah.
It's a wasted or atrophied limb.
Mm-hmm.
He was not dead, but he was
Like a broken limb, like he was broken off from the tree.
Atrophied limb. Ayid was hat sich abgerissen von Stamm. A Jew who had separated himself from the tree trunk.
Yeah, the stem. Yeah,
the stem. Okay. Man hat ihm noch nicht gelegt in Horem rein, aber ist schon gewesen in Horem sei wie sei. Sei wie sei. Hat gewollt a Cookton auf ein Kind, aber hat bei sich abgepasst, als das Mess ist Bilcher.
You want to go back and translate?
Yeah, we have to go back.
Man hat ihm noch nicht gelegt.
Yeah, and what is Horem?
Cherem. Cherem is excommunication.
Okay, they had not excommunicated him, but he had all the same gone into excommunication. He had he wanted to go and take a look at the child, but he realized that the corpse was right there.
No, Bilcher means more important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the corpse was more important. Okay. In dem Meisleis was Yankov is gesessen beim Barminen. What is Meisleis?
24-hour period.
In the 24-hour period when Yaakov had been sitting, Barminen, is that sitting by the corpse?
Yes.
Hat Sachen übergetracht. He thought over a lot of things. Gemacht Hashovim von sich und afillen etwas azoins via Hashovim von der Welt. What is Hashovim?
Cheshbon.
Heshbon.
Cheshbon nefesh. We're gonna do cheshbon nefesh very soon. You know, a self examination.
No, examination. Yeah.
Examination.
And the accent is on Barminen. I just checked it up. It's not Barminen, it's Barminen. But it means corpse. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, wouldn't
he
me be Chesem? Pronounced Chesem?
Yeah, it's pronounced cheshbm, where
Ah,
the base and the mem together become a syllable. Cheshbm. It's kind of hard to pronounce. Cheshbm.
Yeah.
One other question. Uh, that opgepasst has come twice now. And
right.
as far as I know, oppassen means to watch over, and opfassen is to decide. So I wondered if that dot in the pay is correct or incorrect, making
We
it.
had a very similar situation in the last reading where there was
Yeah,
the dot. Yeah,
Mm.
but but
yeah. Most likely it should be upgefasst.
yeah.
But we see this. It might be that this is a common rereading, and it might be accepted even.
So he
I found
examined
it in the
himself.
dictionary. I, I
So should
found
we
it in the
should
dictionary as opgepasst is either to lie in wait or was prepared.
Right. And obfassen is to decide. And the
Right,
dictionary, Bachner very carefully says, be careful, it's different. So
right. Yeah. But I'm curious as to how you knew that that cheshbon. uh, How did you know that again? I get caught in this that maybe we don't want to talk about it now. That was mushed together, and those two vowels became like cheshbon.
okay, cheshbon. It's because words ending with base nun,
Uh huh.
like zibn and
Uh
hobn,
huh.
are pronounced with that nun becoming like a mem and without any vowel between them. Hobn. The mem becomes syllabic. You hear that? Hobn.
Yeah.
Zibn. So
Oh,
cheshbon.
right.
Cheshbon. Although it's hard to
Yeah.
put the base in there.
It is. Okay. Thank you.
okay, so I still owe you a translation of that sentence if I can.
Yeah.
So he examined himself, um, and even did some kind of an examination of the world. Nein, das, was ihm ist zu Hand gekommen, ist nicht glatt atraf am Makeva,
I think it's a mikra.
Mik-
a mikveh.
Mikra.
Mikra with a
Nekra.
resh. Mikra.
Okay, so that which had happened to him uh, was not completely, what is atraf?
Random.
It wasn't completely random, and wasn't mikra. What is a mikra?
An event, something that happened. A,
Okay,
a
thank you.
random event. Yeah.
Or by
It's nothing
chance.
random.
Yeah,
There
but
was
mikra is
One
nothing.
by
something that happens
chance.
to you, not by your desire, but something that just happens.
Hmm. As though maybe he himself wasn't responsible. Well, let's see. Yankov hat geglaubt, Bamuna, Shloima,
Shlema. Bemuna shlema with complete trust.
mhm. As his alts bashert. He believed that he completely believed that this all had been uh, fated to happen. Says Taked do behere.
Bechira, free will.
So there is free will here. Ober says euch do idea.
Yeah,
But
not knowledge, foreknowledge. It's the old question as to whether God already knows everything that we're going to do. And
mhm,
so he says, yes, we do have free will, but there's also God's knowledge.
mhm. And how does that relate to Bashert? Does that
Well,
Bashert mean
Bashert means
God?
destined, fated.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
does that mean that God decided it, or
Well,
God just had
that
foreknowledge of it?
that's his question.
Yeah, all right. Nu hat Guzer
Geuser gewen, to decree.
given in Himmel, as Azoi soll sein. It had been decreed in heaven that it should be this way. Yaakov hat gewusst dem Emes, and he, Jacob, had known the truth. Kochas,
Pythus, forces.
Keuches, was seinen starker von ihm, haben ihm getrieben und gestoßen. So forces stronger than him had getrieben,
Treiben is to drive.
had
Had
driven
driven.
him,
Driven.
and gestoßen,
Stoßen is to shove.
and
Pushed him, pushed him, pushed
had
him.
pushed him. Hat gar nicht gewusst, dem Weg von Yusefov zurück in Dorf rein. He didn't know how to find the way back from Josephov to the village. Die Fies haben ihm allein geführt. His feet took him by themselves. Noch eder sie ist vergangen in Trogen, hat Zorre schon gelost fallen und zu herrischen, als sie wird sterben beim Hobben. When Sarah became pregnant,
Even before. Noch eder.
even before she became pregnant, does this mean that she had a foreboding that she was going to die?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She had let fall remarks or unzerhörnischen, things you could hear. Hints, yeah. Sie wird sterben beim Hobben. And Hobben here means giving childbirth.
Sie hat geredet, was erst heutige Nacht seien sie Kapoor gekommen in sein Gedächtnis. She had said that the first thing she had said in this evening.
No, she had given a speech that first this very night.
Mm-hmm. And Kapoor gekommen when she was going into labor?
No, Kapoor gekommen, they went head over tails. They became upside down.
In their
in his memory. So
memory.
she had spoken things which finally this night had gone, had turned themselves over, turned upside down in his memory.
Or maybe he was going over them, remembering things that she had said before.
Yeah, and giving them a new interpretation. That's the kapoyer, upside down.
Yeah. Nicht anders, noch sie hat gehabt etwas azoins wie Ruach
HaKodesh.
Ruach HaKodesh. So it was nothing more than that she had somehow had, what is Ruach HaKodesh?
Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit.
She had something like a Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Aber wenn kann man erzählen so eine Sachen? But who can you tell such a thing? Wer wird deren glauben? Who would believe it? Voran Sachen, was der Mensch muss verschweigen. These are things which a person must verschweigen, intuit.
No, be silent about.
Oh, be silent about. I shouldn't really guess.
No, guessing is good.
Seinen Sodas.
Soides.
Secrets. There are secrets here. Was wir muss mitnehmen in Kever rein that you have to take to your grave. I think I'll pass the baton now, and thank you for helping me, Raphael.
Good. Maybe I'll pick up at this point then. Was shaykh Yiddishkeit, as far as Jewishness is concerned, is Yankifen geworden als klarer. It became all the clearer to Jacob, as der Tochter von seinen die Mitzvahs, shebein Adam lechavera, that the most important matter of them is the commandments that apply between a person and another person. Die mitzvahs shebein adam lamakom zanen gering. Those commandments that apply between a person and heaven, those are easy. Gershon and andere wie haben gehabt zwei Kirchen. Gershon and others like him had two kitchens, a milchike and a fleischike, one milchik and one fleischik. Mat geschwindelt und gegessen Matze Schmore. They they dealt on they were swindlers, but still they were eating the best kind of kosher matzah. So he's separating the commandments between people and the ones that are ritual. Mohat baret Menschen und genutzt Fleisch, was ist glatt kosher. People like him would insult others, but they were using meat which was absolutely kosher, anasircha, kosher to the level of not having any sirch, okay, I don't want to get into a long discussion of what makes a kosher glatt kosher, but it has to do with extra inspection of the lungs to make sure that they don't have certain kinds of scabs on them, and those are called sirchas. So he only would eat from meat which was glatt kosher that had no sircha. Mat mekana gewen, feind gehat, geführt machlekes. Such a person was envious and was inimical, had enemies, and he carried on quarrels. But still, he would put on not only the usual tefillin, but a second set according to Rabbeinu Tam. This is what the very frum people would do. Rabbeinu Tam is a grandson of Rashi. Mostly we use Rashi's tefillin, but if you want to be careful and make sure you get it right, you use both kinds. Gesucht an esrog a hadar. And he would look for an esrog which was beautiful. Anstatt zurückreden, a Yid, soll versuchen, a Stickel Chaser, oder Chelev, oder anzünden a fire in Shabbos, instead of convincing a Jewish person to taste a bit of pork or forbidden fats, or to light a fire on Shabbos, hat der Yetzer Hara sich in Ganzen verlegt auf jene Averes. The evil inclination was entirely set on those sins, wo seinen tief eingewurzelt in dem Mensch und in sein Teva. Those sins which are deeply rooted in a person and in his nature.
I don't understand what he's saying here.
What he's saying is someone like Gershon is very frum.
No, that part, I understood the earlier parts, but here, where,
So he's saying someone like Gershon would never try to cause a Jewish person to sin ritually. He wouldn't have him taste some chazer or chelev or light a fire on Shabbos. But the evil inclination in a person like Gershon was entirely causing him to commit transgressions that are deeply embedded in him, in his nature. And that's the sort of nature that someone like Gershon has nothing to do with ritual. It has to do with behavior towards other people. I think that is what it means here. Nu, aber was soll Yankov tun? But then what should he, Jacob, do? Wären a Machiach? Should he become a scolder? Should he, it says, I think in Leviticus, Mochiach tochiach lo. You should certainly upbraid your fellow if you see that he's doing something wrong. Should he then be someone to scold? Was hat allein euch verbrochen dem das Yisrael? He, Jacob, who had himself broken the rules of Israel. Nein, es ist gar nicht geblieben nach Chutz Schweigen. No, all that remained was to be quiet. Muss ausgleichen sein eigenem Cheshbon. He would have to straighten out his own self-reflection. Eder succumbed der Saf, before his end might come. Hat heimgeschickt dem Shamas. He sent the Shamas home. Remember, the Shamas had been watching the corpse while Jacob was at the meeting. He sent the Shamas home und sich wieder weggesetzt wachen über der Teuter. And again, he sat down to keep watch over the corpse. Sie ist gelegen auf der Erde. She was lying on the ground, mit die Fies zu der Tür, her feet to the door, zugedeckt mit sein, Yankov's, an Obermalbusch, covered over with one of Jacob's overcoats. Zu Koppens haben gebrennt die rechtlich Licht in Kestelsamt. At her head were burning the remainders of the candles in that little box of sand. In der Friedekere Nacht hat sich im etliche Mal ausgewiesen. In the previous night, it seemed to him several times as die Teute rührt sich, that the dead one was moving. Hat aufgedeckt ihre Ponnen, he had uncovered her face, und sie geprüft munteren, and tried to revive her. Efter liegt sie in Hinterplet. Maybe she's just in a coma. That word Hinterplet, it's the stare of a rooster, but it means a coma, or something like that. Aber sie ist von Jahr zu Jahr geworden kälter, but from hour to hour she became colder, steifer, more stiff, veränderter, changed. Man hat erkannt, als sie erweitert sich als mehr von der Erde. One could see that she was all the more distancing herself from our earthly existence, wo sie hat verbracht etliche und 30 verschnittene Jahren, where she had spent 30 some cut-off years. Yankov hat geprüft öffnen ihre Augen. Yankov tried to open her eyes, aber die Schwarzapfeln haben in Ehrgeiz nicht geguckt, but her pupils were not looking at any particular place. Afille die Nachgiebigkeit is ausgerunnen von ihrer Zure. Even her Nachgiebigkeit, can someone give me a good translation of that?
Flexibility.
Submissiveness.
Yeah, tolerance, agreeability, moderation. Yeah, her agreeability had run away from her appearance. Mot gesehen bescheinbarlich, you could see quite clearly, as sie ist ergens anders, that she was somewhere else. Die Neshama hat sich gehat in Ganzen abgerissen von Guf. Her soul had entirely separated itself from the body. Thus, was ist verblieben, what remained, is given nicht mehr wie a Restel, was nothing more than a
Remnant.
a residue. How's that?
Yeah.
A shawl, a diamond, a shawl, a thing that does not speak. This is going back to, I think it's the Baal Shem Tov's understanding of 4 categories of things. There's human, there's animal, there's vegetable, and there's rocks. Daimim is the last, something that doesn't speak. She's just like that
Like
now.
dome, like it was that, yeah.
Dome.
Dome.
The root is Daled Mem Mem there.
Yeah.
Yankov hat nicht gekonnt lang halten auf ihr den Blick. Yankov was unable to look at her for long. Hat sie gemusst zudecken. He had to cover her up. Hat jetzt herausgenommen dem Siddur von Sformfach. Now he took out the prayer book from its bookcase. Und von Snai genommen Sorgentillim. And he again began to recite Psalms. Hashienia Lakim ki ba'umayim ad nofesh. Rescue me, God, because the waters have come up to my soul. Elakimata yadata Ulosi v'ashmosi mimcha lo nikochedu. My goodness, I'm not sure I can get all of that. God, you know, La'olosi, my burden, v'ashmosi. I don't want that, ashmosai. Mimcha lo nikachedu. They are not hidden from you.
Uh-huh.
That's obviously from Psalms, so I'd have to look it up to find out which Psalm. I'll read just a little bit more to the end of the page. Inmitten der Nacht, in the middle of the night, hat Yankov der Herd, die Tritt von Reiter. Yankov caught wind of the footsteps of knights, Reiter, people riding on horses. Hat wohl gewusst, was das ist. He knew very well what that was. Die Tür hat sich aufgerissen. The door burst open. Und a Dragoner hat reingesteckt im Kopf. And this is some sort of a dragoon, a military person, stuck his head in. Hat getragen a Hittel mit a Feder. His hat had a feather. Die Wonsen seien gewähnt bei ihm verdreht wie zwei Feen. His whiskers were twirled in the shape of a fay on both sides. Der sind die Teute auf der Erde, when he saw the dead woman on the ground, is a weil geblieben stumm. He remained silent for a bit. Danach, then, hat so getan. He said, Bist du der Yankov? Komm mit uns. Are you that fellow Yankov? Come with us. Avemen soll ich überlassen die Teute. But in whose hands should I leave the dead one? All right. In the middle of this exchange, we'll switch to someone else.
Healing, the way you said it. Healing. Yeah. Okay.
So, Yanka, if you want to pick up.
Oh,
Okay. Come, Sizabafel. Come, it's an order. Jakob hat sich übergebeugen über dem Mais, zum letzten Mal aufgedeckt ihr Ponym. Yankov bent over the dead person for the last time and covered her face. Es hat sich ihm ausgewiesen in der Rega, als sie schmeichelt mit a teuten Schmeichel. It appeared to him at that moment that she was smiling the smile of a dead person. Hat ihr gehabt zugemacht das Mäuel und es hat sich wieder gehabt geöffnet. He had closed her mouth and it had opened once again. Die Zähne haben mehr nicht reingepasst in die Jasles. Her teeth no longer seemed to fit in her gums. Die Zunge is geworden schwarzlich. Her tongue had become blackish. Keilig und knäulig. And it was round and sort of rolled up. Hat sich gewollt mit ihr gesegnen, nor nicht gewusst wie soll. He wanted to take leave of her, but he didn't know how. Hat getracht, soll mitnehmen mit sich etwas, a Malbusch oder a Hemd, aber hat gar nicht genommen. He thought perhaps to take with him some kind of clothing or a shirt, but
he didn't take anything. Hat zurück zugedeckt die Teute und sich angerufen. He covered the dead body again and called out, Nu, gay. Okay, I'm coming. Wie nur is a Reus in Dreußen, hat sich de Mond on Talus and Tfilin. As soon as he got outside, he remembered about his Talus and Tfilin. Hat gebeten dem Zellner, soll ihm losen zurück reingehen und nehmen mit sich die dosige heilige Chafotzim. He asked the soldier to allow him to go back inside to take these holy items. Aber jener hat ihm verstellt dem Weg. But the soldier blocked his way. Die Levone, was is noch nicht gewesen voll, hat sich gehabt weggerückt zum anderen Brechhimmel. The moon, which was not yet full, had moved to the other edge of the sky, of the heavens. Die Nacht hat geruht still, kill. The night was resting quiet and cool. Alle Lodens seien gestanden vermacht. All of the shutters were closed. A viele die Grillen und Frisch haben geschwiegen. Even the crickets and the frogs were silent. Ein Dragoner is gesessen auf ein Pferd und hat gehalten das andere Pferd bei der Leitz. The other soldier, the dragoon, was sitting on a horse and he was holding the other horse by the reins. Jankoven hat sich ausgewiesen, als hat schon das als durchgelebt oder gesehen in Chol. It seemed to Yankov that he had all of this had already happened, that he'd lived through all of this already, or that he had seen it in a dream. Der Himmel hat geheuert, aber seierter mit Sternen. The heavens hovered over, strewn with stars. Es ist eingefallen Jankoven, soll schreien, rufen Jiden, sie sollen nicht losen dem Meis allein, nur sie sind befallen etwas soins wie a jüngelsche Busche. It occurred to Yankov that he should cry out and call people not to leave the dead person on her own, but a sort of little boy's embarrassment came over him. Hat gezittert, aber nicht vom Pachad, nor from Kälte. He was shivering, not from fear, but from cold. Hat gedenkt, als Nächten bei Nacht is a Reus von Ergetz am Mois, und Yankov, hat sie gemusst abtreiben. He remembered that sometime during the night, in the previous night, from somewhere a mouse came out, and he, Yankov, had to chase it away. Nu, aber was ist der Chiluk? Wer ist der Guf, Mais oder Verem? So, what is the difference? Who eats the body, if it's mice or worms? Der Zellner hat von ergens rausgekrogen a lange Kate. The soldier took out a long chain from somewhere. Gebunden Jakoven die Hand und zugecheppet die andere Seite Kate zu etwas, was hat rausgestarrt von Sottel. So he chained him and he connected the chain to Yaakov's hands and attached the other side of the chain to something which protruded from the saddle. Der anderer ist euch abgestiegen und ihm geholfen. The other soldier also got off the horse and helped him. Sie haben sich geporret mit ihm wie Katzovim mit an Ochs, was mir führt in Shechtjatke. And the two of them fussed over him like butchers who were leading an ox to the slaughterhouse. Sie haben etwas geredet, aber bloß einer zum anderen. They spoke, but only to one another. Erst jetzt hat Jakob sich der Mund an dem Kind. It was only now that Yaakov remembered about the child. Nu, nicht haben, nicht kein Taten und nicht kein Mammen. So he wouldn't have and neither a father nor a mother. Geboren geworden in a finster mazel. He was born in a very bad luck. Hat Cheshek gehabt zu bitten, die Soldaten, sie sollen ihm zuführen zu dem Weibel, was halt sein Kind. So he wanted to ask the soldiers to take him to the young woman who was given his child. Aber hat gewusst voraus, as die Rede seinen umsiest. But he knew ahead of time that such talk was umsiest, was for nothing. Hat wie Mafker geworden die Hand, gelost als mit sich ton. His hands were mafkir, sort of left. He couldn't use his hands.
Yeah, he let his hands be as if ownerless.
Mhm.
He let them do what they wanted with his hands.
Okay, and I couldn't understand the usage of this als mit sich ton. They should do everything, do what they wanted with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Hat angehangen die Augen an dem Loden von Fenster, was durch seine Spalten hat durchgescheint der Glimmer von die Licht, was haben gebrennt der Teute zu Koppens. He kept his eyes on the shutter, on the over the window, which through the cracks of the shutter there shone the shine of the candle that was burning at the head of the dead person. Weißt sie, was es geschieht jetzt mit mir? Does she know what is happening to me now? Hat sich gefragt. He asked himself. Oder ist die Neshama ihrer so weit zugeflogen, als sie hat schon nicht kein Scheiches mit der dosige Welt? Or has her soul flown so far away from that she has no connection with this world. Alle seine Verlangen haben sich gehabt zu neu gegossen zu ein Begehr. All of his longings came together in one desire. As Sora's neshama soll sein mit ihm, that Sora's soul should be with him. Im Begleiten auf dem Weg zu der Twissa und der Tlia. Und als sie soll kommen ihm und anfangen, wenn wird ausheuchen dem letzten Atem.
Mhm.
So he wanted her to accompany him on the road to the prison and to the gallows, and that she should come to receive him when he would breathe his last breath. Es hat ihm gepeinigt ein Angst. One anxiety tormented him. Was ist wie steht in Koheles? What is was is Oyev? Sis wie steht in Koheles?
Was is
shouldn't it-
Oib says, if it is. How would it be
What
if it
is
is?
What is above is it as it is written in the book of Ecclesiastes.
No, Oib here just means if. What if it is like you see in Ecclesiastes? So what if it
Okay.
is like?
What if? Okay. Mesim einam yodim uma. Die Teute wissen gar nicht. The dead know nothing. Demolt is afile der Teut achoisek. And if that's the case, even death is a mockery. Okay, I think that's a new paragraph where Moshe can carry on.
Die Reiter seien geritten, Pamelech, the knights, the riders, rode slowly when and he, Jacob ist noch gegangen, followed. Sie ist ihm geworden klar, it became clear to him, as man führt him in another Yishuv, that they are taking him to another settlement. Ist bald Arois zusammen mit die Reiter hinter den Städtel. Soon he was riding together with the riders behind the village.
He wasn't riding, he was walking, but yeah. And hinter, when it refers to a place, just means outside of.
Okay, outside of the village, auf a Weg zwischen die abgeschnittenen Felder, on a road between the mowed fields. Before Yaakov had gewusst, although Jacob knew very well, as man führt him zum Tod, that they are taking him to his death, hat tief eingeatmet die Killerluft. He deeply breathed in the cool air. Is gehad opgesessen, meeslesen, früher mit der Schlaffer. He had sat up 24 hours before with the weak, with the schlaf person, with the weak person, und dann noch mit der Teuter, and after that, with her when she died. Is geworden wie opgenommen von die Tuchle Reiches. It was as if he became paralyzed from the musty smells und von Cornishton and from doing nothing. Hat sich gehad opgewohnt in die Jahren Knechtschaft. He had become unused to, in the years of his slavery, von körperlicher Fehlkeit, he had become unused to bodily laziness when he was a slave. Die Füße haben gewollt gehen, the feet wanted to go, die Hände haben gemeint Arbeit, and the hands demanded work. Hat gespannt zwischen beide Pferd. He walked between the two horses, a bisschen erschrocken, sie sollen ihm nicht antreten auf die Füße und zu drücken mit die Lenden, that they should not, and he was frightened, they shouldn't tramp on his feet and squash him with their hips. Wie wohl das Wort gewähren, a schönerer Tod wie in die Hand von Talion. But although that would have been a much nicer death than being in the hands of the hangman. Jakob hat gewollt sagen, die Kapitel Tilem, was hat gedenkt auf auswendig. Jakob wanted to say the chapters of Tillim that he remembered, that he remembered auswendig.
By heart.
By heart. Thank you. Und trachten die Machshobas von Emerson, was is angebreit zum Sof, and think the thoughts of someone who is ready for his end. Aber die Zellner haben ihm zerstreit mit seinen Pleudern, but the soldiers distracted him with their babbling, with their talking nonsense. Zij haben geplappert, they babbled von a schicksalbare, a little Gentile girl mit dem Namen Yanda, who was called Yanda. Einer der hechere one, the taller one, der was hat Jacob arrestiert, the one who had arrested Jacob, hat afregeton, asked the question, wie meinst du Cheslov, wie viele Mannsleute hat sie schon gehabt? What do you think, Cheslov? How many men do you think she's had already? Mehr wie viel du hast Tor in Kopf, more than you've got hairs in your head. Die hat gehabt bloß ein Mamser. She's only had one illegitimate child, und sie hat gesagt, dass sie ist von eigenem Bruder, and she said it was from her own brother. Kon sie kriegen for a halben Sechser. You could get her very cheaply. I'm not sure what a Sechser is, but I assume it's very cheap. Doch sie hat geen. Nevertheless, she has a grace. She's gemacht, Bridgerel. It's pretense, little brother. She's gemacht. It's made up. Een egel schmeichelt to dir, one eye smiles at you, und the andere to dein Säune, and the other one smiles at your enemy. Sie kuscht dir euch jeden ever. She kisses every limb of yours, nor when, but when du gehst weg, when you go away, speit sie euch und schilt dich in der Mammenereien. She spits and curses you right to the devil. Später läuft sie zum Galach. Later she goes to the priest und ist sich mit Freude and admits, als sie hat aufgetreten auf Erzählung von 2 Streuen. And she confesses that she had stood on a cross made of 2 straws. Well gesagt, well said.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Schild in der Mammenereien. Is that an
In the Tatnarein, it all means go to the devil, I think. But Raphael.
Yeah, Shilton den Tatenrein is the common expression to curse someone by his father. But in der Mammenerein is quite unusual. And maybe it's because these are non-Jews speaking and they use a slightly different expression. But in der Mammenerein, cursing into the mother. But as Moshe says, it's saying someone should go to the devil.
And that's something that Jewish people would use also as a curse?
Oh, in dem Tatenrein, yes, that's a standard expression. Although, yeah, in Tatenrein is pretty standard, yeah.
And even in Tattenrein.
Right, if you want to make it even stronger. And you'll even occasionally see him Tatenrein to make it as strong as you can.
In other words, you should be cursed back. I mean, you should be deeply cursed. Is that it?
Yeah, even your ancestors should carry
Even your
curse.
ancestors, everybody should be cursed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well gesagt, well said. Letztens read sie nur von Gassenhofen. Recently, she's only speaking about getting married. Was nicht, why not? Sie wird ein Weiberle und pfeift dir an euer. She becomes your wife, and pfeifen is to
Whistle.
Thank you. Whistles in your ear.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What's that expression? Fight dir on an oil. She gives you a whistle in your ear.
I'm just checking to see if Stuchka have anything like this.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's mocking you. I mean, she's becoming your wife, and she's whistling in your ear. But it's just a strange image, whistling to you in your ear, like it's some form of degradation. But I can't make it out.
Yeah, it's I'm just looking again in Stuchkov, and I'm not finding anything like that.
All right, well,
Lecheren the Euren is to make deaf, but that's a Wort in Euer is just information. A Ligner in Euer reinzulegen, to tell a lie. I'm not finding it.
Okay.
Do you think it means she's going to cheat on him?
It could.
Yeah, not treated with great respect, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Wenn du Wenn du walkers sich in Kasarme, when you are wandering around in barracks, tut sie was ihr gefällt, she does what she likes. And wenn du kommst daheim and you come home, klopft sie sich als das Beichel, tut ihr weh, she complains that she has tummy ache, when hast du auf ihr unreiben mit Mustarda and tells you to massage her with, I assume, Mustarda as mustard. Mit fremde Bullion say they frolic around with, they make merry with strangers. Bei dem eigenen Mann krächzen sie, but they groan for their own husband. Jedes Jahr gebärt sie dir a bankart every year. She will give you a bastard. She will give birth to a bastard. When is so dein Sohn, wie ich bin dein Ober. And that is as much your son as I am your grandmother. Mit Emerson muss man Chasna haben. One has to get married with someone. Nein, man muss nicht, it's not necessary. After Chasna haben mit der Priacha, perhaps getting married with the mayor, sie wollte ihr gewinn getreuer wie Yanda. She would be more faithful to you than Yanda. Wie kann er so reden, wenn hat erst nur gesehen hat heute? How can he speak like that when he has just seen someone who's dead? Hat Jakob sich gewundert, Jakob wondered. Trachten sie keinmal nicht wegen Tod. Do they never think about death? Wissen sie nicht dem Sof von Mensch? Do they not know the end of people? Sie führen Emerson zu der Klier. They are taking someone to the hangman. Uns fällt sie viele nicht ein, zu fragen, für was und für wen. They're taking someone to the hangman, and they don't even think about asking why and what the reason is.
Yeah, there's a distinction between Talia and Talion. Talia is the gallows. Talion is the hangman.
Oh, thank you.
Right?
Nu,
Yeah, so it's Tlia here, pseudo Tlia, to the gallows.
yeah, nu Ontemptheit wollte der Mensch etwas nicht gekonnt vertragen, die Last von Leben. No, without a certain dullness, the people, it looks like, would not be able to bear the weight of life, the burden of life. Taka der eigener Gershon, indeed the same Gershon, is schon an alter Yid, he's already an old Jew. Steht schon mit ein Fuß in Kever, he's standing with one foot in the grave already, von die Gelder, was schwindelt on, und nachweis with the monies that he swindles and cheats, kann allein schon nicht genießen, he can't enjoy it anymore. Nu gerecht is koheret, so Ecclesiastes is right, Havel, Havalim, vanity of vanities, but is that in Yiddish as well? Havel, Havalim.
Yeah, I put the accent a little differently. Havel Havelim, or Havel Havolim, most likely. Havel Havolim.
Yeah.
Maybe Hevel Havolim. Hevel Havolim.
Alt is narish, everything is foolishness. Motar Adam min behema ein, and the difference between man and beast is nothing. Der Mensch ist mit gar nicht mehr von der Behema. The man is nothing more than a beast.
Yeah, Naborsky says Havel Havolim.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Havel. Aber zu was hat das Gott fortbeschaffen? But why has God, for what purpose has God created us? Hat formed sei dem Reiter und sei das Pferd. He has formed both the rider and the horse. Hat viele gegeben Starkheit dem Knekht man soll nicht wollen überreißen. He has even given strength to the chain that one should not be able to break it. In der Regel is Jakob Kapoor gekommen als Labdavka. At that moment, it came back to, it returned to Jacob that it's not necessary, Labdavka. If whatever yoga point überreißen, perhaps he would really be able to break the chain. So steht nicht in ergens geschrieben, als darf sich losführen zu der Schritte. It's not written anywhere that he has to allow himself to be led to the slaughter. My goodness, this is more than I've used